Hello friends, welcome again. Friends, in this video lecture, we want to discuss romantic comedy, which is also known as Shakespearean romantic comedy. Friends, before we discuss the salient features of this Shakespearean romantic comedy, I request all my viewers to please subscribe to this channel and click on the bell icon so that whenever I upload a new video, you will get the notification. With this request, let's begin. Friends, in one of my previous videos, I discussed the important characteristics of Renaissance of Elizabethan age. During this period, during the 16th century and in the beginning of the 17th century, we find drastic changes and development in English literature. In the field of drama, we come across some great tragedies like Hamlet, Macbeth, King Lear, Othello, written by Shakespeare. We have some great tragedies written by Christopher Marlowe. And in the field of comedy also, we come across romantic comedy, which is typically Shakespearean romantic comedy. Friends, Shakespeare has innovated the art of writing comedy during this Elizabethan age. He innovated and he wrought a different kind of comedy which was very much different from the ancient classical kind of comedy, and that is the reason why this romantic comedy is named after William Shakespeare and we call it Shakespearean romantic comedy. Friends, before we discuss the important features of this romantic comedy, I remember to quote Ben Jonson. Who was Ben Jonson? You know that Ben Jonson was a contemporary dramatist and a critic of the Elizabethan age. He knew that Shakespeare is indeed an outstanding personality, and that is the reason why Ben Jonson has written these lines to eulogize, to appreciate the talent and the skill of William Shakespeare. He said, "Shakespeare, you are the soul of the age." Soul means Atma. According to Ben Jonson, Shakespeare is the soul of the Elizabethan age. Applause, delight, the wonder of the stage. Applause means talia, right? He said that whenever we watch a play, a Shakespearean play on the stage, we listen to the great round of applause. Delight, Shakespeare's plays delight the mankind and wonder of the stage. According to Ben Jonson, Shakespeare is in fact a wonderful dramatist. My Shakespeare, rise, I will not lodge thee. Thee means you. Lodge means keep. I will not keep you by Chaucer and Spenser. Friends, Chaucer, who is known as the father of English literature, father of English poetry, Ben Jonson says that William Shakespeare, you are above them. I cannot put you side by side with Geoffrey Chaucer and with Edmund Spenser. You are miles away, miles up and above these two great poets. Thou art a monument without a tomb, and art still alive while thy book does live, and we have wits to read and praise to give. Then Jonson wants to say that you are still alive. So Shakespeare is not for one age. According to him, Shakespeare is for all times, is for all countries. He has no geographical boundaries. Shakespeare is loved and respected equally in all ages by all communities in all countries. So this is what Ben Jonson believed about William Shakespeare. Now friends, let's first of all try to understand what a comedy is. Friends, we know that literature is what? Literature is the reflection of life and society. It reflects, it represents human life. And human life is what? Human life is a nice amalgamation, a nice mixture of tragedy and comedy. In our life, tears come out and smiles also is seen. Our life is a mixture of tears and smiles, sighs and shouts of joy. So good days and bad days go together in human life. Marriage and funerals go side by side. And tragedy and comedy are in fact the twin sisters. You can say they are the twin sisters of the mother called life. Life is what? If somebody asks you, you can say life is a mother who has two sisters, comedy and tragedy. Goethe is a thinker and a philosopher and a critic. He also believed that human life is a tale. Tale means story. Human life is a story told in tears with smiles. So friends, life is a mixture of tragedy and comedy. But what a comedy is? Aristotle, a great Greek philosopher, he has written the Poetics. In his Poetics, he has defined comedy. If I use Aristotle's words, then he said that comedy is an imitation of man worse than the average, not productive of pain or harm to others. He said that comedy presents man, people. Which kind of people? Worse than the average. You know, in our society, in our life, there are some people who are very good people, some people who are good, some are bad, some are worse, and some are the worst. Okay? But comedy must represent worse people, okay, worse than the average, not productive of pain or harm to others. According to Aristotle, comedy should not create any pain, any harm to the people, to the society. Horace Walpole, again an important philosopher, has said that life is a tragedy for those who feel, and life is a comedy for those who think. This means that, tragedy is concerned with emotions and comedy is concerned with intelligence. Okay? So, let's see what makes a comedy a comedy. Comedy is a play which ends with a happy note. It must have a happy end. Number one, this is the first requirement of any comedy. Number two, comedy always deals with some light subject matter, very trivial subject matter. I mean, seriousness is not found in comedy. Some light topics are presented by the dramatist. Number three, comedy arouses humor and laughter. That is but natural. Why? Because it's a comedy. Number four, most of the times comedy aims at the social reform. Through comedy, the dramatist wants to reform the society, wants to reform the weaknesses of mankind. Why? Because these weaknesses are exposed on the stage, and this is how the dramatist tries to reform the society. And number five, comedy mainly appeals your intelligence, not your emotions. So this is what a comedy is in general terms. But friends, we are going to discuss romantic comedy of William Shakespeare. All these five elements which we just now discussed about comedy, they are not generally applied to Shakespearean comedy. Why? Because Shakespearean comedy is a little bit different type of comedy than this average common definition of comedy. Shakespeare's comedy does not make an appeal to the intelligence, rather it appeals our emotions. Number one, this is one difference. Number two, Shakespeare never tries to satirize, or he never tries to reform the society by exposing the weaknesses of the society. Okay, so his aim is just to give pleasure and joy and entertainment to his readers, to his audience. Moreover, if you read ancient classical comedies, Shakespeare's comedy is different from ancient classical comedies. Why? Because Shakespeare violates the rules, the unity of time, place and action. He does not follow these three unities in his romantic comedies. And Shakespeare has his own rules, he has his own norms of writing comedies. So, what are his norms of writing romantic comedies? Then, as you can see here on the screen, there are 6 important elements of Shakespearean romantic comedy: fanciful world of imagination, element of realism, element of humor, subject matter of love, light mood, and music and songs. These are the 6 elements, friends, which we want to discuss now in this video. And number 1 is Shakespeare presents fanciful world of imagination. That means the place where he puts his characters, that place is the world of imagination. If you read Shakespeare's romantic comedies like As You Like It, The Twelfth Night, A Midsummer Night's Dream, you find that the scenes of the whole story they are located in a very far distant land. It is far from the modern hustle and bustle of the modern life. His plays, his comedies are staged in a remote, fanciful world of imagination. In his comedies, we come across some fairyland or some magical world, some magical forest and so on. where you find some fairies or you find some characters, who are who are magicians and all. So it is all about imagination. This kind of plays you actually really do not find in this real world. So the place or the setting which William Shakespeare presents is actually the creation of his fertile brain, and his brain is highly imaginative. Okay, so the first characteristic. Second thing is that though the place is imaginative, but still realism you find in all his comedies. Realism means the touch of real life, the touch of real characters, the touch of real emotions and real thoughts. No doubt, the background and atmosphere of Shakespearean comedies is highly imaginative, highly fanciful. Okay, but remember, Shakespeare, it is Shakespeare's unique quality that he combines real and unreal together in his comedies in a beautiful artistic manner. The romantic world of fairy tales or fairy land has no doubt it is imagination, but still it has the characters which are lifelike characters. If you read the comedy Merchant of Venice, the character like Antonio and Shylock, they are the real merchants whom we generally find in our own society. We have some great lovers like Portia and Bassanio, like Helena and Demetrius, and the same kind of mad lovers you find in our own real life. So reality is there in his characters. Okay, not only this, the problems which are presented there in the comedies, these problems are my problems, these are your problems. So realism is found there again. Real lifelike issues, lifelike problems, they are presented by William Shakespeare. It is said, no, in love, the path of true love never did run smooth. The path of true love is not a smooth path. There are obstacles when you are in love, and this is real. This is applied to our real life, and in the same manner, the same dictum applies to all the lovers who are presented by William Shakespeare in his comedies. Even you will find the characters like Puck. Puck, who is a character, very mischievous character, humorous character presented in his comedy A Midsummer Night's Dream. Such mischievous characters we find in our own life, in our own neighborhood. Yes or no? Okay, the love triangle which Shakespeare presents in his comedy, the same kind of love triangle we find in our own society. So Shakespeare's comedy is not far from reality. Realism is infused in his comedies by William Shakespeare. So that was the second element. The third one is the element of humor, and this is but natural because comedy always arouses humor, arouses laughter. But the difference between Shakespearean romantic comedy and all other comedies of English literature is that other comedies they present a satire. Satire means kataksh. They present a satire on the society. Shakespeare, his comedies are never satirical comedies. The humor, the laughter which is aroused in his comedies is innocent humor. His laughter, his humor does not harm anybody, does not hurt anybody. And Shakespeare does not aim at reforming the social evils as we generally see in all other comedies of William Shakespeare. Shakespeare's very funny characters, clown characters, like Bottom, like Puck, and so many others have become immortal in English literature because of their humor, because of their ability to create laughter among the audience. Number 4 is the subject matter of love. Remember, Shakespearean romantic comedy is always based on one common topic, and that is love. His all comedies are love comedies. In fact, love is the lifeblood of his comedies. The plots of his comedies are those of the love intrigues. Okay, you find here that lovers meet, they depart, they quarrel, they fight, okay, they hate each other, but at the end of the day, at the end of this comedy, they meet again, they compromise, and then at the end they get married. This is the common theme of love that you find in all his comedies. You take the example of The Merchant of Venice, you take the example of A Midsummer Night's Dream. We have some great lovers like Bassanio and Portia in Merchant of Venice, and we have 3 love pairs like Helena and Demetrius, Hermia and Lysander, Oberon and Titania in his comedy A Midsummer Night's Dream. Okay, and the next important quality is music and song. Friends, it is Shakespeare's style that he cannot stop himself from using melody, music in his plays. His comedies are full of music and songs. The tone of his romantic comedies is highly lyrical, highly melodious. Okay, let me give you an example from A Midsummer Night's Dream. If you read Midsummer Night's Dream, you find 6 songs all throughout the play, and I have taken these 3 lines from one of his songs from Midsummer Night's Dream. Over hill, over dale, through bush and briar, flood and fire. Right? So you find a kind of music, you find a kind of rhythm in his words. Each line and stanza of this song can well be sung with music. So music and songs, this is also an important element of William Shakespeare's romantic comedies. So friends, let's now conclude the discussion by saying that romantic comedy of William Shakespeare is actually different from all other comedies of English literature. It mainly creates laughter and humor, but it is innocent by nature. It does not harm anyone, and it does not aim at reforming the society. Realism and imagination both go side by side in his romantic comedies. And love is the central subject matter in all the plots of all his romantic comedies. And music and songs make his comedies more appealing, more interesting, and that all these things make William Shakespeare indeed a great playwright of comedies. So friends, here we come to the end of this discussion. Friends, please share this video among your friends who are studying English literature, and if you have any doubts or questions, do write to me in the comment section of this channel. Thank you very much.